I'm sitting out in front of a gas station because I've been trying for 4 days to get the videos off of my laptop to save to a Google Drive so that I can upload them into videos to put on YouTube. And I could not get them to work at all. Like, they would not download. It would have taken like 11 hours for one video to download that was like 2 minutes long. And I've been jumping from place to place trying to find a good Wi-Fi connection, and I finally found one at a gas station. So I've been sitting here for like an hour trying to get my videos to load, and I finally did it. So sorry for the late upload, but they're uploaded now. So I haven't made a video in a minute again, but I finally got my GoPro that my dad sent me in the mail. I picked it up in New York, so I have a couple of things to talk about from before New York, so I'll start with those. So the first thing that I've done since the last video would have been, first I went to Cape Cod, and it was freezing, so I didn't stay very long, but the beach was beautiful, and it would have been lovely to stay there for like an entire day and just like check everything out. If it wasn't so cold, probably like summertime, I'd love to go again. And second thing that I did that day was I went to the Breakers, which is basically this mansion, and there's like a bunch of them where that one is at, and I just went to the one, but you can pay to go to all of them. But it was so beautiful, and they have a whole tour that you can do like through your headphones. So you just download their app and you listen to the tour of the whole building by yourself, and it was really interesting, and I got a bunch of pictures from that just on my phone because you're not allowed to take in professional cameras. Then the next day I went to this dam. I have pictures of that too. And it was raining slightly, so hopefully none of the pictures got messed up at all. But it was beautiful. All the trees were red and yellow, so the whole lake that was behind the dam was just like beautiful. It was so pretty. Ugh. Hello. So it's currently raining, but look how beautiful. I just went right there. I was just at that. But it's so pretty. After that, I stayed a couple days in Connecticut just because I didn't really have anything to do, so I don't have anything from those days. And then after that, I went straight to New York. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to come on here and tell a story about how I almost died the other night. So I have, because it's pretty cold, it gets pretty cold. For me at least, it gets like under 40, and so I have a heated blanket that I brought with me that's like has a car adapter, and I was sleeping, and all of a sudden like my leg brushed up against this one spot in the blanket, and it was like super hot, and I like moved my leg out of the way, and I was like, what the heck, why is it so hot? And then I ignored it and I fell back asleep. And then the next morning I got up and I unplugged the blanket and I put everything away where it goes, and I got in the front seat and I drove all day. And then I got back in bed that night, and the blanket and the big blanket that I usually use, which is right here, this blanket, was all bleached. Like, it had bleach spots on it, and it was turning like brown. And I was like, what the heck is this? And it turns out that my blanket short-circuited, and it had like copper metal from the wires everywhere. Like, it just seeped out of the wires and got all over the place. And so I had to buy a new heated blanket, and I had to buy a new big blanket because I didn't want to like smell like copper all the time. So yeah, I almost died, and now I'm gonna sue China for it because they're the ones that made my blanket that almost killed me in my sleep. And I saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I have been dreaming about seeing for 7 years, or probably more than 7 years. But I finally got to go, and it was even better than I expected it to be. And they even have a new Harry Potter store that just opened in New York, so if you're also there, go to that, because that is also pretty cool to go to. I also went Central Park, hung out there for a couple of hours, just walked around and looked at everything. But I didn't do a whole lot in New York just because I was by myself and I wasn't sure if I felt comfortable walking around so much, especially taking the trains all the way down to like different parts of the city. But it was really fun, and I think I finally figured out how to use the train system after getting lost a couple of times. Where I was talking about my day, I mentioned that I went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and after waiting 7 years to go see that, I was very, very impressed. I would definitely go see that again. It was such a good show where they portrayed magic like very well. Like, I was sitting there and I was watching it, and because I'm such a Harry Potter lover, it just felt like I was watching one of the Harry Potter movies. I was sitting there and I was watching and I was like, oh look, they're under the invisibility cloak and the chairs and the tables are moving around by themselves. Oh wait, tables and chairs don't move around by themselves, Lizzie. So they just did a really good job. The actors did amazing. I cried a couple of times. I am a Slytherin. I'm a huge Draco Malfoy, Scorpius Malfoy fan. So getting to see them played in front of me was one of the best things ever, because I've been wanting to see that show forever, and they're both played a lot in the show. And after reading the book, I think that I loved the show like 10 times more. And I highly recommend that if you like Harry Potter and you've read the Cursed Child book, even though it's not considered canon, I would go see it. And if you're going, invite me, because I'll go with you again. But yeah, I really did love that show. And that's all I can say about that. Next, I went to Longwood Gardens, which is just this big property that has like a conservatory, and they have like a whole model train set that you can go look at that's like the whole grounds, and then they have the building of the guy that originally lived there, and it's really pretty to go to. It's in Pennsylvania, and I highly recommend going there if you're into lots of outdoorsy plant kind of stuff, which I am. I really enjoyed that. And then I went to Old Fox Books, which was in Maryland, and I just stopped in for a couple minutes, bought a couple of books, because I can't go into a bookstore and not buy a book. Otherwise, you know, I feel bad like I didn't buy a book. And then after that, I went to DC. I was going to go to see the Smithsonian and everything, but it was super busy. I went on a Saturday, which was a terrible idea. So there was no parking anywhere, but I did get to go see the Library of Congress, which was beautiful, and I got to go into the U.S. Botanical Garden, and that was also really cool because inside of it they had little replicas of all of like the Capitol building and the Library of Congress and some of the Smithsonian's were all inside of there, just surrounded by plants. It was so cool. And then yesterday I went to this little town called Frederick, also in Maryland. I just went shopping in a little downtown area for a little bit because it was pretty early and it was on a Sunday, so not everything was open yet. But yeah, it was really cute, just like a cute area that had a couple of parks like right there, so I walked around those. And then after that, I went to this viewpoint, which I have pictures of, so I'll put some of those in. But it was just a viewpoint right off, like you're literally standing on the side of a cliff and it's just like all trees, and there's like a river right that runs through the middle of it. And it was so beautiful, and there was a lot of mud. And I highly regret wearing my Vans to do the excursion that I did. My shoes were not meant for the mud. Yeah, you just walk in. Oof.